Hello, Bill DeWeese here from voice-over-training.org. I hope that your work week is off to a great start, and I hope you had a great Mother's Day yesterday. If you're a mom, I hope you had an extra special day yesterday, and if you're not, I hope that you were good to your mother and or the mother of your children. We had a great Mom's Day here at the DeWeese household. All the kids were here, and we had a cookout out in the backyard, and it was just a lot of fun hanging out with the kids. And Vicki got some plans and is working on her garden out in the backyard. Even as I record this, she's working on doing some planting. And perhaps I need to get this over as soon as I can so I can go help her as well. You know, try to do my thing on Mother's Day. I wanted to do something a little bit different today. I get asked a lot about what my work day or my work week looks like. And I thought I would break it down for you by talking about the anatomy of a winning work week in voiceover. And let me give this disclaimer. I'm not extremely comfortable in talking about how much money I make. And you might find that surprising, being that I promote the whole six-figure voiceover thing, and I have the audio program, Six-Figure Voiceover Secrets. But I do believe this. If you're a voiceover coach or consultant, I think that you need to be prepared to be pretty transparent, and you need to let people know how much money you make if they're counting on you to help them build their business. And I think as a voiceover talent, if you're looking for a voiceover coach and you're doing your due diligence, I think the first thing that you need to ask a voiceover coach is how much money do they make? And not just today or not just last week, but over the past year, over the past couple of years, because you want to know that they know what they're doing and that they have built a business and they are sustaining a business and that they can teach you how to do that as well. So all that being said, that's why I'm sharing this, because otherwise, what credibility really do I have to try to help people to do something that I can't do myself? That being said, I also know it's a game. It's a really tricky game to get into because there's always somebody who's going to be better at you in whatever field it is that you're involved in. And there's always going to be somebody who makes more money than you. So that's a contest and a game you don't want to get into. But if you're looking to build a business that is sustainable and a six-figure business over the long term, it certainly is possible. So that's what this blog post is all about, the anatomy of a winning voiceover work week. So what we're going to do is this. I'm going to break it down day by day to show you what I did in my business this past week, because I think there are some important and helpful lessons learned in the model that I use, the business model that I use in growing my business. And also, let me tell you that this past week, it wasn't a record-breaking week, but it was an above-average week. So it was a very good week for me in terms of the voiceover business. So I'm going to talk about what that looks like. I want to break it down day by day so that you can get a sense of the number of projects that I do and the variety of types of projects that I do. So without further ado, let's just go right through it. And let me take you Monday through Friday, what this past week looked like for me in my voiceover business. On Monday, I recorded a total of 5 projects. Now, and I'm not going to get into specific clients because a lot of my work is done under the agreement of non-disclosure. So some of these things I can talk about, but for time's sake, I don't need to get into all the specifics. But I do want to give you a sense, again, of the number of projects and clients and the type of work that I'm doing. So on Monday, I did 5 separate projects. And by projects, I really mean 5 different clients. In other words, I might have done a couple of different projects for a client, but I would count that as one project. So I did 5 projects on Monday. 3 of those were commercial projects, and 2 of those were corporate narrations. And those 5 projects, on Monday, I made $1,404 for those. On Tuesday, I did 5 projects again, and the way that looked was this. I did 2 training narrations, and I did 3 commercials on Tuesday for 5 projects, and I worked that day, Tuesday, for a total of $1,134. On Wednesday, I increased my number of projects, but actually made less money. I did 7 projects. I had 3 of those were small telephone on hold projects. I recorded 1 commercial, and I did 3 training narrations. And on Wednesday, I made $466. On Thursday, I did 8 projects. I did even more projects. One of those was a commercial. I did 3 corporate narrations, 2 training narrations, and then one was an on hold, telephone on hold project. And on Thursday, I made $1,053. And then on Friday it was mayhem around here. It was busy. 10, count them, 10 projects, 4 commercials, 5 training narration projects, 1 on hold project. And I almost made $1,000. It was $999. So last week's total was $5,056. That was my gross income for this past week. Again, not a record-breaking week, but it was above average week for me. So, it was a very good week. What I'm not counting in there is I'm in the middle of working on an audiobook narration, so that's not counted. That will be finished this week, and so that revenue will be counted in this week. But I keep track of this. Actually, every week, every day, I have this all up on a board so I can see exactly where I'm at and what I'm doing. Now, so why do I tell you all of this, and what are the takeaways here? Well, I think there are a couple things you need to keep in mind, and that is, here are the lessons learned, I think. Number one, you need diversity in terms of clients. You need a number of clients, and you need a number of projects. So if you have an agent, and you're counting on that agent to bring you enough work, or you have a handful of clients, and you're counting on them to bring you the work, you're going to be sitting around doing a lot of waiting. You have probably heard me, if you've watched my videos at all, you've heard me talk about my 90-10. You've heard of the 80-20 rule. Well, this is my Bill DeWeese's 90-10 rule, and that is when you first start off in the voiceover business, be prepared to spend 90% of your time marketing and selling yourself, and 10% of your time actually doing voiceover work. But what happens as time goes by and you build your business, then that starts to invert and flip itself around backwards. Whereas now, today, I spend about 10% of my time doing marketing and sales work, and 90% of my time is recording. And this past week, it was way less than 10%. I hardly did any marketing at all, just because I had so much work. I just had to stay busy constantly. So you need a pretty large book of business, a lot of clients. Let me put this in perspective for you. I did an email marketing mailing a couple of weeks ago, and my database is almost 500 names. And those 500 names contain clients and prospects that have expressed interest in me. These are not cold calls. These are people that I have communicated with who either like me and say they would like to consider doing work with me at some point in the future, or people that I have done work with, or people that I'm currently doing work with. But almost 500, and I've built that up over the past 5 years. And I have about 50 to 60 what I would call active clients. These are people that I get work from on a regular basis, some literally daily. I have a couple of clients that I get work from, like training narration type clients. I get work from almost every day. I also have a couple of commercial clients that do a lot of commercials for different radio stations and TV stations all around the country in small and medium markets that I do a high volume of work for as well. So I have about 50 to 60 fairly active. Some I get almost every day. Some I'll get a project once or twice a month. Some I'll get a project about every quarter or so. And then some I'll hear from once or twice a year, or once every couple of years. But it takes a large number so that every day, there is not a day in the past 5 years that I can think of that I have not. When I say day, I mean weekday, not weekend. I don't work weekends. But there's not a day that has gone by that I did not have work to do, paying work to do. But again, it requires volume. It takes an ongoing marketing effort. Plan on it every day. It's not a once a week thing. It's not a once a month thing. Every day, you have to look for ways to move your business forward. You need to be contacting people, staying in touch with current clients and prospects. Also, I think another lesson here is that specialization. My background is in marketing. I taught marketing in an MBA program. I was vice president of an instructional design company where I was responsible for marketing. And I understand the importance of specialization and of niche marketing. But what I have found to be true, at least for me in the voiceover business, is that the way I've been able to grow my business to where it's at as quickly as I have is that I have really become a jack of all trades. I have a very broad approach. And I think in the voiceover business, that's smart early on, although as your career progresses, you will find that there are some things that you're better at than others, and your business will tend to naturally gravitate towards certain niches. And at that point, it becomes a little more appropriate to specialize. But you'll notice that as I went through my list of projects for the week, I did commercials, I did corporate narrations, I did training narrations, I did on-hold scripts, and I'm working on an audio book as well. So to build your business, to do a six-figure business, especially if you want to get there relatively quickly, you need to be prepared to do a lot of different kinds of work. Another thing to keep in mind is that there is physically no way that you can do this volume of work without an assistant, at least not without working, 13, 15 hours a day. I would lose my mind if I didn't have Mallory working with me and assisting me in all of this, because while I'm recording, she is editing training narration. She is doing my billing, my invoicing. She can handle some of the marketing details for me. Because if I had to take care of all of that and record, there's no way I would be able to make as much money as I'm currently doing. So to get to that point, keep in mind that at some point it makes sense financially. You'll make more money. You'll also keep more of your sanity if you hire an assistant. And also, just here's another side note: you'll have to learn how to manage having a personal life outside of your professional life. And this is something that I continue to wrestle with, because when you work in your home, I sit in this 3 by 5 foot padded, I almost said cell. It's not a cell, it's a room, because I can come and go as I please. But it's in my home, and I don't get out that much. I mean, I work a lot, obviously. And I work at home, so I continue to learn how to manage that, because sometimes you just need to get out, and you have to be deliberate on that, and you have to be intentional on finding reasons and for things to do. Get out leave for the weekend. Don't take on client projects over the weekend. Don't worry about your email over the weekend or in the evenings after a certain time. But once you get up to a certain level, you realize you've got to learn to separate professional and personal, just for the sake of your own sanity. I hope that was helpful. Just to get a sense, again, think of it as a portfolio of clients and of projects and of work. If I emphasize nothing else, or you get nothing else, realize that you need to take a volume approach if you want to build a six-figure income. Unless you hit the lottery, somebody likes you for a client hires you for a particular company, and you become the spokesperson for a national campaign that goes on for years and years, and that just becomes your bread and butter. And I hope that does happen for you. But for most of us, while we're waiting for that to happen, we have to be doing other work, to be able to do business and take care of our family and pay the bills, and hopefully have a little something extra left over as well. So again, I hope that this has been helpful. Wanted to let you know, and this is just a bit of a teaser, just to let you know something I've been working on. I am in the process, actually I've just recently wrapped up production on my Voiceover fast track video series. It's over 3 hours of content, of video tutorial training content that takes you step by step through everything that I do to build my business. Who I contact, how I contact them, what I say, what I say when I'm on the telephone, what do I say in my emails, to help make sure that I get the job and get the work. And I've had a lot of requests for this, and I just want to let you know that I'm wrapping up production on it, and I will soon have it available, and you can expect to hear something about that soon. And if you want to make sure that you're on my mailing list and you don't miss that, just drop me an email at voiceoverexpert@gmail.com. Again, I wish you all the best and great success in your voiceover business. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, please feel free to drop me an email, again, at voiceoverexpert@gmail.com. And until then, take care.